Oh, you got the resource there. Oh, look at you with the yes, sir.
Homework, homie. Come on now. It's funny as my mother had it at her house, but Yanni had it here, and I've been looking at it for a long time, for way too long. So this will probably be what helps kick me in the ass and get me to actually start reading it.
Ah, okay. That's dope. I have it over there somewhere, but I didn't even think to grab it.
Yeah, have you read it?
I never got through it, actually.
Word?
When I read a book, go to a conference or do any of those kind of things, like I never try to take in like all the information. I try to take 2 to 3 nuggets that I, from whatever it is I'm doing. So it didn't take me long to start taking nuggets from Atomic Habits. Like, yeah. I just, like, hey, I can do this stuff right now. Like, I can say I can do 1 push-up a day because it's so easy. So I never got through reading the entire book because I had taken some nuggets from it and started to implement them. So, and that just tells me there's probably some really good information in the book.
That's good stuff. I'll wait till we get into it to hit that then, because that's right on time. So pinning that for sure.
Okay, let's try to get through the intro, see how that works, and then I'll time it, and then we can kind of see what that's like. How that sound?
Sounds like a win to me, man.
All right. Do we need to count in or something? I don't know. What we need to do? We just need to start?
Yeah, let's start.
All right. Look, if adulthood had a warning label, it would say may cause back pain, random bills, and acting like you're good when you're actually not.
Facts. Truth. The wild part, you could be winning on paper, job, house, family, and still feel like your life got a low battery warning every day.
And you keep telling everybody, I'm straight.
You're not straight though, you're just functional.
So if you ever said, once things slow down, I get it together, welcome. Things never slow down. You just level up or you keep leaking. No perfect people here, just better moves.
Let's make one today.
I'm Malcolm.
I'm Shy.
And this is the podcast where we talk wellness like grown men. Real life, real pressure, real situations.
Not preachy, not fluffy, just practical.
Today is the foundation. Why we even need a wellness system in the first place? Because if it's one area of your life that's out of pocket, it will eventually start stealing from everything else. So we have we have some original music, right? Mm-hmm. We can just start with I'm Malcolm, I'm Shy, and just get into it right there. We don't have to do all of the other stuff.
Yeah, I was thinking even maybe right where you have no perfect people here, just better moves.
Yeah.
I like that. I think that's a great tagline.
Okay. That's good with me.
For the first episode, I feel
for the first one, I think just that little dialogue, I think that was cool. 1 minute, 20 seconds it's not crazy.
Yep. All right. So after we run through that, we're gonna transition into the check-in. Okay.
We're gonna go into the check-in. That's a normal thing we do anyway. How your day, how your week? Maybe we do a 1 to 10 or something. So we can do the check-in, talk a little bit about that.
Yep.
Do the capper facts. Do that.
Mm-hmm.
And then just get to the conversation.
That's it.
While we're here.
When we talk about Kappa facts, are these things that we're gonna have prepared each week? I didn't even think about that.
I was thinking about that this morning. I was like, damn, do we think about that? Like, is that something can we take a Kappa fact maybe from something we talked about in that first couple of minutes, or do we have one prepared?
Mm-hmm. Maybe
we have one prepared, but if something comes up in the check-in or in that initial, we can pivot.
Freestyle off that. Yep. Yeah. I like that.
So, before we get started, we got to check in with each other. So how you doing today, brother?
Doing all right, man. I guess Kind of. I guess a little bit of cap because I'm tired. I'm sleepy. Working on getting my sleep schedule right. So, if we had to do this on a scale of 1 to 10, I'd probably say I'm about a 7.
I'm with you on a 7. Nothing really, that I can pinpoint why I'm a 7 outside of I got a little sinus thing going on today. Sleep, affected my sleep last night. So I'm at about a 7 too. So that's probably where I'm at. Now, we both mentioned sleep right there.
Mm-hmm.
All right. So you know how we always heard, I'm a Nas fan, right? So you hear, I never sleep because sleep is the cousin of death, right?
I knew it was coming.
So cap or fact, is sleep really the cousin of death, or what we doing?
See, now he had poetic license with it when he hit it there, right?
Okay.
But he's talking about being asleep in terms of, if you talk about the political landscape today, sleep in terms of being not woke, if you think about it.
No.
But actually, sleep is probably the fountain of youth, or the what do you call it? The well of life, the tree of life.
Yeah.
Because I'm telling you, I've been struggling to get my sleep habits together I didn't realize that sleep was a problem for me until around 2018, 2019. Okay. And back then I had much worse habits than I have now. I was drinking heavily. I was smoking. And I was doing all types of other stuff. I was going out to the gentlemen's establishments certain nights. Mm-hmm. I was active at night.
Okay.
And I was working really long hours at work. And I think that played a big role in a crash that came not long after that, man. And I've been trying to figure out how to get a proper sleep schedule ever since. I got to the point now where I'm looking at myself now. I can see these little black marks showing up under my eyes. I'm sure that's because of lack of sleep. I've been to doctors a couple times, a couple eye doctors that said my vision getting worse may be a side effect of not getting enough sleep. And for some reason, I just can't put myself on a sleep regimen. How about for you? Is sleep a new challenge for you? Is that something that you've been going through for a minute?
Ah, man. So I probably have battled with sleep as long as I can remember. I probably get the best sleep of my life nowadays. When I was younger, when I'm talking pre-adolescent young, I had nightmares and night terrors. Sleep wasn't a thing. As I got into my teenage years, I was a vampire, yo. I was, if the sun was out, I wasn't outside. So I'm outside or, just doing things at night that carried over through, when I first went to college, it was, staying up, studying, whatever the case may be, got into the workforce. It was work during the day, still trying to be the vampire at night. Mm-hmm. Then I started going, when I went to school online, my school was on Pacific time. So my assignments weren't due until midnight Pacific time. That's 3 a.m. where I'm at. Oh. So I literally conditioned myself to just be up at night. And I convinced myself that I did my best work, from the hours of 9 p.m. to 4 or 5 a.m. So I convinced myself that was when I was the most creative or the most effective, whatever the case may be. And as time went on, I would just start to, just have, just be tired all day. It's, lethargic, things of that nature. And going to my primary care physician, we've been talking about this sleep hygiene thing, and my nutritionist talks about it. Mm-hmm. Started reading more about the impact of sleep and all that good stuff. So I try now to have better sleep habits, but sleep has been a thorn in my side for the better of 4 decades.
Man, 4 decades. So what's a good night's sleep for you right now? How many hours?
About 7.
About 7? Man, you a champ, bro. That's incredible.
But that's new. You would have asked me that 3 months ago, 6 months ago, I'd have been 3, 4.
Word. Okay.
Yeah.
That's about average for me, 3, 4. And then because I don't work a 9 to 5, I may have a crash nap of about an hour or 2 in the evening, somewhere around 6, 7. So I probably get about 5 a day, but they're not, I'm not getting in the REM, which I hear. Yeah,
Yeah,
that's what
yeah,
they say. I think, what is it, like the third or fourth hour when the sleep really starts to
yeah,
rejuvenate you or bring you back
yep,
to life?
yep, yep.
So,
So yeah,
what was the magic bullet for you that got you to 7 hours?
man. So I just had really bad habits, eating late, on a device late,
Uh,
TV on, all of that stuff. And I'm a fake creative, right? So like my brain wasn't turning off. Um, and I know we can talk about this like in detail, maybe in a later episode. But when I started meditating, bro,
yeah,
that started to change everything for me. Like
meditating at night.
meditating at night, yeah.
Okay, okay,
So I started to I read about a one breath meditation method where you just take like one deep breath. And that kind of is a transition from what you were doing. So it puts a hard stop on what you were doing to what you're about to do. And so I started to like lightweight implement that, like going to work. So before I would get out of my car, deep breath,
uh-huh.
go in, whatever task I was doing at work before I started another one, deep breath. But then I was like, well, what if I just started to try to do some type of intentional breathing at night? And so I would find myself sometimes I would meditate and I would fall asleep. And I use a meditation app. So my app
Mm,
would be on and I might wake up an hour later, like, damn. So that really started to help as part of what I guess medical terms, sleep hygiene, like a
okay,
routine where you really telling yourself, it's like you training yourself to say, you're about to go to sleep.
okay,
So you
okay,
do a series of things that say you're about to go to sleep.
okay.
So for me, that was taking a shower, brushing my teeth, putting on some lotion, yada, 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 read, meditate.
Okay.
And that
Okay.
kind of got me into into a little system. And it started to help. That's when I started to really realize that it's not that I'm this nocturnal creature. Like I just never had, my body never knew when it was supposed to go to sleep because I never trained it to do so.
That's incredible. Okay, so and I watched my wife do something where she's kind of changed herself, and I watched her put herself into a habit of night routine, and she was a night owl, very similar to you, or she claimed that night owl thing. I never actually claimed it, because really I'm an early bird. I'm usually the person that wakes up around 3 4 a.m. So on top of going to bed late lately, my body's still like, hey, it's time to get up around 3 4 a.m. no matter what.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
that's where my challenge is. What was there an event or catalyst that got you to try this routine?
Um, to be quite honest, my primary care physician, like, bro, you need to go to sleep. Like, it literally. So one, my primary care physician is he looked like me.
Mm-hmm.
So we have real conversations. It's not this kind of like, it's a real conversation. So he's like, you do a lot. Like when you have to rejuvenate yourself, whether, not just to be able to physically do stuff like you think you say your brain don't work the same and this, that, and the third. And he knows like the type of person that I am. So
Mm-hmm.
he'll like give me something to read. He'll be like, check out this article or do this or do that. And it took me a couple, like maybe 2 years of him telling me this over and over again. And I only,
Really?
obviously I only see him most of the time I only see him once a year.
Okay.
So it's a couple of times that we've had these discussions and it's always, how's your sleep? And I'm like, it's getting better. I'm like 5 hours. Like, that's not good. Like,
No.
you got a young son. I'm gonna need you to go to sleep. I'm gonna need you to do this. Da, 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 da. So I fell into the, all right, just give me a pill.
Hmm.
Right. So he gave me a pill. I asked for it, he gave it to me. See if that helped. He was like, nah, if it don't work, don't take it. Or if for you too, he's like, it's not one of those where you're gonna be sleepwalking and it's not that heavy. But I took like a half a pill. I didn't like the way I felt in the morning, so I stopped taking them like that day.
Yeah.
But it was really like when I decided, I think for me, it was when I decided that I really wanted to start just being a better me, like in all ways. Sleep is a part of that equation because I really want to show up, you know, like how I'm supposed to show up all the time. Now I don't work all the time, but that's the intent. So I have these we all have like these mental blocks, right? And I just wanted to really, like I said, just show up the best version of myself, and waking up trying to, pump caffeine into my body or whatever the case may be, like that ain't the move. So that's when it was kind of like, okay, you have to do something. It might not be, it's not this pill, but you got to take this into your own hands. And I knew that I did stuff that hindered sleep. I also think I have to have noise on to sleep. Like I would have the TV on, or if I'm in the bed and I'm scrolling, like I don't necessarily need to do those things. So let's start to eliminate some of that and see what happens.
Man, so it worked though. Did it take long for the routine to kick in?
Absolutely not. That's the crazy part.
Yeah.
It was almost like my body was like waiting for me to figure it out.
Like, thank you.
Right.
Immediate. Okay.
Like, and I had those days where I think I got a good night's sleep and I wake up tired. I think it's just a normal thing, but it was really about just wanting to be. I put it this way, like I use the word, like I want to be impactful. All right, I want like when I do things, I want them to be impactful, no matter how small or large that thing may be. And I can't have the impact that I want to have if I'm lacking, because I don't want nobody else to be lacking. Right. So how can I do the same but expect somebody else to be on point all the time?
Yeah.
So
I feel that one, man. Well, thank you. I appreciate that. That sounds like motivation, and trying the what you call it, sleep hygiene. Putting together a sleep routine, a bedtime routine has been something I keep saying I'm going to do and try, but I always give myself the excuse I'm too busy, or I'm like you said, I'm fake creative. I ain't gonna take the fake. I'm getting out of the habit of saying fake now, because I'm getting in the habit of claiming it, but my brain just is always on, so I need to take the reins on this bad boy and put it under some sort of control. So having regular conversations will probably be helpful. Having them with the wife, it wasn't working. I mean, she's doing great for herself, but I don't know, something about seeing her do it and my brain's still going. I for some reason I haven't had some motivation. So maybe this, between you and her, maybe I'll find some accountability and assistance in making sure that I make this thing happen, man.
And the thing is, it don't have to be a crazy routine. It can be like one or two things, and all those one or two things, they just lead up to, I'm about to shut it down. Like, that's how and then eventually your body knows what comes next is sleep.
It's gonna be interesting, man. Did you take notes on yours at all, or did you just do the routine and did it just start working so you didn't really have a need to study it? Because this is part of what I've been telling myself is I'm going to actually study myself and watch when I go through these things and document these processes for some reason. I guess partially because I'm a documentarian. That's part of my art, right? But I think I'm using that as a procrastination tool.
No, so I didn't at first I was journaling. I journaled kind of like what I was doing and kind of the result. Then I got a little lazy because I have a smart watch or whatever, right? So that watch can give you kind of some feedback on your sleep. And I just let the watch do what it did. Like I got obsessed with my sleep score at some point. Like, it gives you a sleep score.
Yeah.
And I started getting obsessed with the sleep score. I started looking at it like, oh, this was how long I was in REM sleep, or this is how many times I woke up, things of that nature. And I just started to kind of, I guess, document that way, just looking at the looking at the data, right? So looking at the data. Looking at the data.
We'll explain that later, right?
Yeah. And I just kind of used that as my barometer. Because it didn't seem I mean, I know it's not 100% accurate. There's some variancy there, but it didn't seem. I knew like when I had a bad night of sleep and that sleep score was low, it made sense to me. When
Yeah.
when I had a night where I knew I was tired and I might have went to sleep early and I might have stayed asleep a little later than I intended to, or whatever the case may be, like it would show these things. So that's what I used. I just used the technology that I already had on my wrist and started to use that as kind of like my barometer.
Interesting, man. I used to have a Garmin, and I remember I used to look at the sleep. Um, I don't know if there was a score, but I used to look at the sleep records and just kind of see how many hours I would sleep. But this was before I started to realize that sleep was a problem, a real problem for myself. And I've got concerns about using digital devices now, but this has me curious about whether I might be willing to
Now,
slap one of those on my wrist right now.
and you know how, we'll have a conversation, you and I get an idea or something, or you get an idea. So I got an idea because you
All right,
said you're a documentarian, right?
right.
I can see a series of your sleep hygiene, your routine.
Sleep
Just,
journey.
I mean, because I'm sure we not the only two people who battle in some type of, you know what I'm saying?
That's true. Fact and truth. Yes.
So if you, wanted to, one, a document, two, share, and three, maybe get feedback or accountability from other people who may be going through the same thing, that can be a quick little clip at the end of the night, like, boom, yada
Uh-huh.
yada, this is what I'm doing. And then another quick little recap in the morning. Hey, I did this. I got 4 hours. Then I ain't work last. You know what I'm saying? Like
Yeah.
it could be a whole little thing.
That's you know what? That might be even more motivation for me too. Yeah, that's actually thank you. I appreciate that. That's actually really helpful. And I'm not gonna say anything else about it, but I'm gonna do that. I'm actually just gonna commit and do it and follow through because that's the best. I find that's one of my best ways of being accountable, and that's one of the reasons why I do so much stuff online and say it out loud online so much is to force myself to be accountable for things. And sometimes I slip, stumble, and fall, but I think I think it's worth it. And I'd rather have somebody call me out for stumbling and falling than me fail myself. So, and I'd rather not hear that. So, it's good motivation.
There you go. There you
It's good
go.
motivation. I appreciate that, man. I might have to take notes, as a matter of fact, just so I'll be
I mean,
editing this.
yeah. We got it on. We just hop right into some other stuff, and this is how this. I mean, for everybody who eventually watches this, this is how this kind of goes. Today we was really trying to, explain why we're even recording this and distributing this to y'all. This show, this conversation, this content, whatever you want to call it. We're just two men who, as we said earlier, we're not perfect, but we're trying to work through it. We're trying to figure it out, and we are just sharing some of our experiences, some of our strategies, some of our go-tos, some of our failures, some of our successes, um, for everybody else to utilize. And hopefully, you get some value from our conversation. Hopefully, you take some nuggets. We were talking before hand, or maybe not, and I was talking about how, taking 2 to 3 nuggets from something, whether it's a podcast, a book, a piece of literature that you're reading. And so we hope that, I don't want to speak for Sha, but we hope that you can take 2 to 3 pieces from this today and utilize that in your life, or you got some value from that. So
Absolutely, and become part of something larger. I mean, I think one of the biggest things that we can do to help ourselves is begin communicating with others and being honest with others. I think I've learned, again, like you just said, I don't want to speak for Malcolm, but I've learned that I grow the most when I'm being open and I'm being communicative. I was a very private person for most of my life, and I stayed in the midst of a whole bunch of ruts and stayed caged into certain mindsets for a very long time until I learned to start talking and it wasn't because I was talking that I was changing so much as because of the responses that I was getting to what I was talking, what I was listening to, what I was hearing coming back. So, doing things in a communal sense or in a social sense has been helpful for me. And I think my big reason for doing this is I want to encourage people to be more and more social about their health because it helps. At least it helps me.
It really does. This brings me to something I saw on let me see, whose internet is it today? On Nicki Minaj's internet.
Good choice.
So there was a Kev on stage. He posted a video about him posting about going and getting an annual physical, and some of the responses to his post really let me know that men, especially Black men, have no idea what an annual physical is. It was kind of wild to see the interaction and what the perception of going to the doctor is, or kind of I don't know, I guess the stigma about going to the doctor. I mean, there were some guys in there talking about you don't need a doctor. You can just go to the gym, eat healthy, and this, that, and the third. And yes, those things are absolutely true. You need to, move. You need to eat right. Great. But that you can't get screened for cancer at the gym. I mean, you can't get your cholesterol read at the gym. You know what I'm saying? Like, and that's just, you mentioned like that communal aspect and that conversation, and he was doing that, right? He was just sharing his, hey, I went and got my annual physical, but those responses were wild.
I can imagine.
It was. Go ahead. I'm sorry.
No, I was going to say I can imagine because I've been one of those people who's got 1,000 reasons or excuses for why I won't go to a doctor. Don't go to a doctor right now. The current excuse is, oh yeah, I don't have insurance. But that's not something I'm allowing myself to keep. I'm on the road to getting insurance right. I'm on my way to getting finances in a better place so I can get everything together. I got a few steps I have to take, but this year I'm not giving myself the excuse of not going again. Same with therapy. I'm going to get myself into a healthier therapy situation. But back to the doctor real quick. One of the reasons I myself had a problem with doctors was I didn't know how to pick a doctor. So I was just picking a name off of a list, and it was a male. So, okay, if I got a cough, at least it's not somebody that might feel uncomfortable coughing with, or as uncomfortable coughing with. And I don't know who you're going to feel comfortable coughing with. But I ended up with doctors that I realized I wasn't getting health care from. I was getting health services from them, but I wasn't getting health care. And then honestly, we're Black men, so I guess it needs to be said.
No perfect people, just better moves.